And we are back. Thank you so much for tuning in again. It's 10:15 and we will be talking to Olivier Rihs and Gilles Despas. They will introduce themselves in a second. And we will be talking about the new joint venture that is currently under construction between TX Markets and Scout24. It has been one of the most discussed and one of the most exciting project going on in the Swiss market, in the tech space, but also in general in the Swiss economy. So very happy to be having this conversation today. So welcome, Olivier and Gilles.
Hi.
We could do this interview in French, really.
We could. Yeah. Good idea.
But I don't know if people would understand. So I think for the people who don't know you, it would be great if you could briefly introduce yourselves.
Olivier. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm Oli, CEO of TX Markets for a short time being now. And well, I'm 52. I'm proud father of a daughter. She's 17. She's playing ice hockey and football. I played football, but it was a long time ago because of my gray hair, you know. And now I'm playing golf and all the outdoor sports possible in Switzerland. So I like sports, but also I like the digital business and the classified above all. I'm since 2002. I was at Scout, 16 years long, and I hand over in 2018. You did a great job because it was fantastic what you did during the last 3 years. And I came here at TX Markets in 2020, and now we are coming together. I'm very happy and very excited to do the next chapter with you.
So you tried to leave and you've been pulled back.
Yeah. I tried to, but it was not possible.
Switzerland is a small world.
It's a small world.
We are the example of that.
Exactly.
Okay, so you go way back. You've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And what about you, Gilles? Can you introduce yourself as well?
With pleasure. So I'm 52 years old. I'm working for Scout24 as CEO for the last 3.5 years. I've been in Switzerland for the last almost 30 years now, in many parts of Switzerland, from Geneva to Lake of Constance, Bern, and now Zurich. And I am in a partnership, and I'm coming late to parenthood, so I'm waiting for a kid in the next 6 weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's coming exactly at the right time. So 2 babies, one at home and one professionally.
One professionally.
Good.
So as a reminder, in the comment section, you are allowed to participate and ask questions. We will try to get the community involvement as much as we can live on air. Now, of course, maybe we won't be able to answer all the questions or even allowed to, but we'll do our best. And for the people who are catching up, who maybe, first of all, do not know, I mean, if you don't know about TX Markets, maybe you definitely know about the brands of TX Markets, and you also know about the brands of Scout24. So can you remind us, what is this joint venture? And maybe explain for the people who are catching up.
All right. You want to?
Maybe I take this one. Yeah, the JV have been announced at the end of August. We bring all the brands of TX and Scout together. Scout are well known, Auto Scout, Imo Scout, and Anibis. And at TX Markets we have, and Final Scout, sorry, I forget it. And at TX Markets we have Homegate, Car for You, Tutti, Ricardo. And I think, let's say, it makes absolutely sense that we come together. It was, let's say, a journey, but a good one. So, and the shareholders decided, let's say, and the shareholders are Mobiliar, Rignier, General Atlantic, and TX.
Okay.
And I think it's a big move for the Swiss market, and also a big signal also that we are able to do also big bold moves in Switzerland.
So very big move involving a lot of well-known brands, involving also a lot of well-known shareholders, as you have explained. What are the next steps now, Gilles?
So the next steps are, we are between what we call signing, so when the shareholders decided to get engaged, and the closing when the marriage is actually taking place.
Okay.
But there is still a lot of preparation before we exist as a legal entity and a separate company. So what are we focused on? Definitely putting together everything that we need as a company to be operational. Starting with the name. So we are working on our name because we need one in a few days or weeks. We are working on the high-level organization of this joint venture. We have a lot of people to bring together. It's around 500 people on both sides. So we are talking about a large digital company in Switzerland. So we need to organize ourselves. And we need to prepare for being operational from an HR point of view, from a financial point of view, before we can start as one company and continue and operate. I would say the most important things is that we continue doing our business as we do today. Before or after the closing, it is important that we keep on serving our consumers and customers.
Yeah. So my first question is, I mean, you say, Olivier, it makes sense that this joint venture happens, but my first question is actually, why does it make sense? Scout24 and TX Markets are two very big players in the Swiss market. So why have two very big players join forces and be one where maybe you could have continued to exist to the side of each other? So, Gilles, if you want to take that question.
Yeah, there are many reasons behind this. First of all, the Swiss market is a large market, much larger than a lot of people think. At the same time, it is one of this market where we still have two, let's say, medium-sized competitors fighting for all the consumers and customers. And this is a situation that is not ideal. By joining forces, we can really put all our resources and talents together to work on innovation and operate at scale. Both companies were super ambitious in terms of creating new products, new services. Nevertheless, we don't have the size of other marketplaces in Europe, but we have kind of the same job to do. Serve the automobile industry, serve the real estate industry, and for that you need resources. By joining resources, we really can do our job more properly, innovate properly with the right talents that we need. That's one. The second one is we are operating in a space that is very competitive, and not only marketplaces are competitors. We are dealing in a space where Facebook and Google are active. Our customers are also using their services. And we see also that there are some gigantic marketplaces forming in Europe. One day they will want to come to Switzerland, so we better get prepared to receive them.
Yeah. But okay, so you are getting bigger with this move. You have more resources. And you've mentioned Google, Facebook, who have marketplaces and who are also competing on the Swiss market. Even though you are bigger today, these tech giants who have marketplaces services are enormous. So how do you plan to tackle such giants with this new joint venture?
I'll start with the answer and then I'll let Olivier also add to that. I think our force now is that we are a big scale-up by joining forces. So we have the resources to really do the right services and products for our customers. And at the same time, we can attract the talents from Switzerland, but also beyond Switzerland, and have impact on the Swiss market. I think the people who are working for this company are going to have an impact that they can see every day by, going through the streets and talking to their friends. I guess, of course, Google and Facebook have an impact, but it is really a one-size-fits-all approach. We are coming with a tailor-made approach for the Swiss industries and consumers.
So let's talk a little bit about this tailor-made approach. So why would a consumer in Switzerland choose to either sell on your marketplaces or buy on your marketplaces versus one of these giants? What is the value proposition?
Well, I think we know our customers well. So, and we already, let's say, work with them since more than 20 years. So I think we can really go deeper in their needs and have the better answer. But of course, again, if you look at the numbers, and as Gilles said, the digital business is worldwide. And just one number, in the last quarter, Facebook made 9 billion of not on revenue, but on benefits. So it's incredible. So there are 23 million per day. And we do that maybe in half a year. It's okay. And that's not frustrating, but again, so we have a big chance here in Switzerland to really tailor-made and make great product with great people and to answer better than the tech giants for our customers in Switzerland.
So you both mentioned talent and great people. You mentioned going maybe beyond Switzerland for the talent that you have in your team. So what kind of, what makes your team special? What kind of team do you envision in this new joint venture?
Well, first of all, both companies have a lot of similarities when it comes to the talent that we have. We are a digital company, and what we see is that we already have a lot of talents in this company. We are more than 1,000 people. And out of these 1,000 people, we have 40 nationalities.
Wow.
And maybe what is not known, we have now, by combining forces, offices that are also outside Switzerland. We have 100 people in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. We have people in Belgrade. We have people in Berlin. And it is likely that we want to actually be where the talents are. So we don't exclude actually to have more hubs outside Switzerland if it's needed.
Yeah.
And Gilles, good news. We have also people in France.
And we have people in France.
Yeah, Valbonne.
In Valbonne, in South France.
we had people in France joining this morning. We saw when we had the poll about where people are joining from. So shout out to to the French people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to attract talent in these different hubs from different places. Also, evidently, also a lot from Switzerland. So why should somebody choose to be interested in working for this joint venture instead of going to one of these big tech giants or possibly one of these European companies that you anticipate will enter the Swiss market?
Well, I can speak for the company I'm going to work for as well. First of all, we have cool companies already now. If you speak with the people, you see that they really like what they are doing. And we have these sites, that gives you the resources that you need to really do a good job. But at the same time, you can have an impact directly on the Swiss market because we are small enough to give a lot of ownership to the people that are working in that company. So I don't want to criticize a company like Google or Facebook, but personally, I wouldn't go there even for a great job because it's such a gigantic now. I'm not sure that I could see the impact that I'm having. Here, people will have the possibility to really see directly the impact of their job on the product side, on the tech side, on the sales side, on the marketing side, and enjoy that. I think that the people who are joining digital companies, they want to have impact.
Yeah,
and we have a great conference also.
Absolutely.
So that's also a very, very important point.
So there's a comment actually on this live stream that somebody is hoping that the portfolio of companies from the new joint venture will keep joining the conference. They hope that this will be something that will be happening.
We haven't spoken about it yet, but there is no reason why we should not join conferences in general. Yeah.
So the people are for it. There's a question in the Q&A. I'm just saving it for after my first round of questions, but don't hesitate to ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll get to them. One of the themes that we've been discussing with a lot of the people in the chair today and also in this conference is the impact of the pandemic, of course, on the business. So is it fair to say that, in a way, marketplaces in Switzerland have benefited from the lockdown situation? And did it bring the business to a certain level that we still see in a quote-unquote, maybe post-lockdown situation?
Yes. So I can speak for Scout now, and Olivier will certainly give an example for TX Markets. Yes, we definitely saw an impact. We have seen first an increase in audience on all of our marketplaces.
Yeah.
What we have seen as well is an adoption of new services that we created during COVID, like the possibility to see a car remotely. The car dealer would actually present the car, the outside and the inside, and speak live with the customer, so they don't have to go to the car dealership. The same on real estate. So we started with visiting homes and apartments remotely, which is really saving a lot of time for everybody. And I think this demand will stay in the form of even more comprehensive services like online purchase, for example. So it's absolutely not excluded now to buy a car online with all the guarantees that you need for that. But to make that step and let's say make a live test. So this will stay. Yeah. And we continue, despite the end of lockdowns and so on, to see increase in audience on our platforms.
Okay, so it relates to a question we have on the chat, asking you, do you have a bullish vision of marketplace in the next couple of years? So you say it will stay. Do you think it will also grow, and that you need the joint venture to prepare for this growth?
It will definitely grow. The trends are valid for all marketplaces. What I mean is we will want to be bringing this e-commerce feeling even closer to the consumers and customers, meaning we will want to extend our customer journey so that everybody can do a lot more digitally rather than a portion digitally and the rest, face-to-face. The reason is it saves cost, especially for the customers, real estate agencies and car dealers. But also it saves time and even saves a bit of the planet by not, moving around to visit an apartment and drive a car.
Yeah.
And that the services that I guess are really now relevant that we didn't think about 2 or 3 years ago. People buying cars online 3 years ago, I think that would have been a difficult conversation. And now suddenly this is a happening conversation.
Yeah, and as an example, Gilles, at Car4You, we changed the business model. It's fully transactional. And I think last month's good news, we can also, have 400 cars sold on the platform. And that's a clear sign that people are ready to do so, even if the amount on the money is very high. And that's why I think the future of the marketplaces are definitely transactional in the future.
Yeah. It seemed that the lockdown helped people change their shopping habits and also forced the companies to innovate and made the experience better for them in the examples that you have mentioned. So sounds like the trend is here to stay and grow and keep growing. Now, that's the trend of what's going to happen on the consumer side. I'd like to ask you, what do you think what do you see is going to happen in the marketplaces industry in general? So in Switzerland, but maybe beyond, you've mentioned European competitors who are also growing. Do you see more consolidation? Do you see vertical integration going into other services? What is your perspective?
A bit of everything, to be honest. There is a lot of capital around for marketplaces because that's very sustainable business models, first of all. The second thing, it's geographically, for the time being, very local. So there are now already a few marketplaces groups, but most of them are on 1 or 2 countries, maybe 3. But you don't have the giants that you have in online travel, for example, that are really worldwide. All these trends are going to take place: consolidation, verticalization, going into the transaction. And there will be also different business models. Ours is to keep cooperating with our current customers, real estate agencies, car dealers. What we want is to digitize together with them. But there are also these business models, like I can name the Cazoo's and Auto One, and in the automobile industry. They are completely integrated. They are themselves car dealers. They buy cars, they sell cars, and that's more disruptive business models. They are also implying a lot of cost, and these companies are not making money yet. Let's see. There is a lot of movement. So the landscape is going to change dramatically. There will be bigger groups. There will be the ones cooperating with the clients, not disrupting them like us. There will be the one completely disrupting them, like the Cazoo's and Concerts and PropTech. We will see who is going to lead in that space. It's still very, very open.
Okay. We actually have a question that speaks to what you just talked about. Somebody said you mentioned the example of buying a car online with a guarantee. So Andreas is asking, could one of these vertical integration mean going into the space of offering this guarantee as an extra service?
Combine it. Offering it on our balance sheet, probably not.
Okay.
But
so more as a partnership with.
But through a partnership with the right partner, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. We have a bit of a controversial question. Should I get into it?
We're ready. We're ready.
Go ahead.
So, and it's also anonymous. So brace yourselves. Now, I think it's an interesting question for you to address. The chat mentions the fact that you've mentioned having a lot of hubs abroad, but are you still being a Swiss company that has jobs, or are you what's happening with all these jobs with these hubs abroad?
We are definitely a Swiss company that is in our DNA and will stay in our DNA. So whoever and wherever is someone working for this group, it will have to have a good understanding for the Swiss market and even some love for the Swiss market. And because the reward will be actually having an impact on the Swiss market as well. We are actually really taking care of the lives of 8 million people who need cars and homes and financing and buy and sell used goods. This Swissness, as we call it, this is in our DNA, and that won't change.
Okay. Thank you for taking that question. Much appreciated.
But I think it was an easy one, no?
It was an easy one. Do you have something more?
No, actually. Well, we have actually there's one that just popped up. So I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, but Alain is asking us if Goldbach will be involved in being the marketer for the new joint venture. I guess it's maybe a bit early to say, or
definitely early to say. We know where we are. TX Markets is working with Goldbach on the Vermarktung of advertising on this market, and is doing a good job. Of course, we are in a new situation, so we have to reassess the situation. But we don't exclude anything at this point in time.
Okay. No question about the name yet, so...
You can try, but even under torture, I won't speak.
Even under torture?
I don't remember exactly.
Challenge accepted. What about the name of your other baby? No, I'm joking. So
that's T3, so yeah.
Okay. We have a question from Christian. Christian Fürst is asking... So I think he's referring to something that you said earlier. So I'm sorry, we're going to have to back up in the conversation. He's asking, do you see this transactional and economical behavior also on the B2B side? So I'm guessing, I'm not quite sure. I'm also a bit perplexed by the question, but I think he's referring to the changes in the shopping habits and their economical spending and the way that they've come to online, the way the general public has come to online marketplaces. And there are companies that exist for B2B that are B2B marketplaces. Do you also see that the B2B spending and buying is also moving to online the same way that it's happened for the general consumer?
So if the question is around B2B marketplaces, there is a big trend for it as well. It makes perfect sense because it opens for everyone, every company in the world, the possibility to procure services from around the world as well. It's still very local for a lot of services. Yeah. So the trend is big as well. It's not in our vision with B2C marketplaces, or C2C. Nevertheless, yes, there is a big trend in B2B marketplaces with a lot of specialization even. If the question was more around the other side of the marketplace, so our customers like real estate agencies and car dealers, in that case, yes, we need to help us digitize the entire customer journey. That's our role, but we want to do it with them, not against them.
Okay, together as a partner.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. So we've gone through all the questions from the chat. So Thank you so much, both of you, for coming here to the studio and give us a talk about this exciting joint venture.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. It was a pleasure meeting you. Stay tuned, guys. We will be back here at 11 a.m. with the CPO of Ricardo, who's going to share with us the lessons learned growing Ricardo. Ricardo, the brand, has gone through a tremendous increase in growth in the past few years, and so their CPO is going to tell us some of the insights and maybe some valuable lessons that we can apply in different contexts and different companies. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much, Olivier and Gilles, and see you next time. We'll be right back.